everybody, this is Arielle from MMS, and today I'm going to talk about piano for singers. Believe it or not, sharpening your piano skills can actually help you become a better singer. Learning piano helps every singer get better with pitch control, rhythm and phrasing, and helps deepen your understanding of music theory. So the more that you play and sing out the melodies that you're learning, the better you're going to be at singing them. So today we're going to talk about how to practice your vocal warm-ups on the keyboard, how to do some interval practice on the keyboard, and how to play out melodies on the music that you're learning to sing. We're going to start with learning the notes on the keyboard. So the first thing I want you to check out is the black keys. Not so much focusing on what notes are there, but for now we're going to focus on what the groupings look like. So we've got sets of 2 black keys and sets of 3 black keys all throughout the keyboard. This will help orient where your notes land. So at the beginning of every set of 2, that's where your C is. So go ahead and pause the video and you can find all of the C's on your keyboard. When you know where all of your C's are, you're able to figure out the rest of the notes if you memorize the pattern C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then we're back at C again. So go ahead and take a moment and see if you can find all the D's on the keyboard, the E's, the F's, and so on and so forth. The next thing we're going to talk about is the staff. So this is the way that we write down where the pitches are in the song that we want to play on the keyboard. The piano reads in what we call the grand staff, the treble clef on top and the bass clef in the bottom. So these technically divide your keyboard in half, treble clef being the higher pitches and bass clef being the lower pitches. Your right hand is going to handle the treble clef notes, and the left hand will handle the bass clef notes. In the very middle of the keyboard, you'll see it's middle C, which is basically the one that floats in between the 2 staffs and divides the 2 sections that your 2 hands play. So looking at the staff on the screen, you can see that we've got notes that go all the way from the low end and work their way up all the way through middle C, up through high C, and to the top of the staff. Each note alternates line, space, line, space. Since it's probably too difficult to memorize all of the notes going from the bottom of the keyboard all the way to the top on the staff, we have some tricks that we can use to help identify the notes on the staff. So we separate them into line notes and space notes. For example, in treble clef, on the lines of the staff we've got E, G, B, D, and F. If I use those letters to make a sentence, every good boy does fine, or every good burger deserves fries, you can easily remember what the notes on the lines are. The ones on the spaces actually spell the word face, F-A-C-E. So that's kind of like a cheat sheet you can use to learning the notes on the staff and finding them faster when you're reading a piece of music. So the next thing that would be helpful to learn for music theory on piano is accidentals. So on the screen at the top you'll see some notes with symbols next to them. A sharp, which looks like a hashtag symbol or a pound sign. The flat symbol, which looks like a little B. And the natural symbol, which I'm not really sure what that looks like, but it's up there. So when we're sharping a note, we're moving it up a half step, and when we're flatting a note, we are moving it down a half step. So for example, if we take the letter D, and we want to make it D sharp, we'd move it up to this black key here. If we want to make it D flat, we'd move it down to this black key here. So if I see a D sharp in a song, I would play that one instead of D. Or if I see D flat, I would play that one instead of D. Depending on what musical key you're in, some of them use flats and some of them use sharps. So every black key is both a sharp and a flat of something. Speaking of musical keys, let's talk about key signatures. So at the beginning of your sheet music, you're usually going to see a group of sharps or flats next to the clef, treble or bass clef, depending on if you sing in the high range or the low range. So the number of sharps or flats tells you what key you're in. We're not going to get too much into that now, but basically what you need to know is by looking at what line or space the sharps or flats are on, you'll know what notes in the melody are going to be sharp or flat notes. Go ahead and take a look at the key of G. So you'll see that there's a sharp symbol on the F line of the staff. So that means every time you see an F in the music, you're going to play F sharp instead. So now that we've got some basic theory knowledge for piano, let's start to play and sing some stuff. So we can begin by doing a vocal warm-up. When you know the patterns of these warm-ups, it's pretty easy to figure them out on the piano. I've put one up on the screen that's a basic humming warm-up that goes up and down the 5-note scale. The only thing that you need to be aware of is that there are accidentals in this, because every time you move up, we're moving into a new key that uses different sharps or flats. So we'll start here on C. And we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to go hum up and down the 5-note scale. Ready? And then we move to the D, which we start on middle D, and this time it's going to use the F sharp in it. Good. And then we're going to start the pattern on E. And then F. Starts on G. Then A, getting up there. B. And high C. Another great thing you can practice while singing and playing are intervals, or the distance between notes. So this is really great because it helps you with your ear training. Realizing the distance between notes will help you get better at sight reading off of a page. If you know how far away they are and you know what the bottom note is, you can figure out what the top note is. And it's also great for learning how to harmonize with other people, so this is something you can practice with a friend too. So going through these intervals here, if you are both singing the same note or one note, let's take C for example, you're singing in unison. Then if you go from the first to the second, C to D, we have a major second, C to E, major third, C to F is a fourth or perfect fourth, C to G is a perfect fifth, and then we've got C to A, which is a major sixth, and then we've got C to B, which is a major seventh, and then C to higher C is an octave. So now that we've warmed up and done some theory practice, we can start to play out a melody to a song. I chose Somewhere Over the Rainbow because I thought it was something that most people would know and would be easy to follow. And I also wrote it out in the key of C so that we can keep it simple without accidentals at first. So I'll just take you through a little bit of the beginning, and then you can go ahead and pause the video and find the rest of it on your own. So we start down here on middle C, and that's our some. So we're going to go through slowly and sing and play through the notes. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. And then you would repeat with the new lyrics and go through the rest of the song, plucking out your notes and singing. Don't worry so much about rhythm at first. You can just find your pitches and make sure that you've got those internally and that you're singing them correctly. And then once you're comfortable playing and singing, you can try it with a metronome and start to get the rhythm faster and more fluid. So now we're going to up the challenge a little bit and do the same song but in the key of G. So that means we're going to look at the treble clef at the beginning of the music, and you'll see that there is one sharp on the F line, which means all of the Fs are secretly going to be F sharps. Yes, that means that they're not going to be written as a sharp in the music. You just have to remember that it's in the key signature and play it that way. So this time we're going to start on G, and we're going to go somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. You can go ahead and pause the video and finish the rest of that little bit if you like. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Arielle with Modern Music Studio, and this was Piano Basics for Singers. I hope that it helps you with your practice routine, and I hope it helps you become an all-around better musician. Please check out our channel for more sweet videos like this, and we'll see you next time.